If you're a Playboi Carti fan, it's time to celebrate because we finally have major updates for his new album, including a release date that seems to be January of 2024, according to academics. And if you guys are new here, we're going to be keeping you guys up to date with this entire rollout for Playboi Carti's new album. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the like button if you do enjoy this video. And let us know in the comments how hyped you are for Carti's new project. So, Ant, getting this news today, we got the information from somewhat of a reliable source, being academics, who sort of took us through the Whole Lotta Red rollout and was the first person to tell us it was dropping on Christmas. So, do you trust him this time around?
I do, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, because even at that, a couple of weeks ago, there was actually an official press source from Playboi Carti's label that went through academics. And to further go on to the academics information, he said that he would be more active until the album date, apparently going on streams and, doing a bunch of other stuff. So I think it's quite interesting. So it was also interesting to see the community's reaction to academics speaking, because I don't know if you guys are maybe a part of the community in 2020, but academics is not necessarily the most reliable source when it comes to album dates, but when it comes to Playboi Carti, he is always right. And last year, he took us through apparently another rollout, but apparently Playboi Carti had some complications. So go through what happened today.
Yeah, so today was a firestorm of updates from the Carti sphere, just because we got Carti posting up on his story this picture that said, "I am music." Then you saw that he changed his profile picture on IG to that same photo. Then on his burner account, again, post the exact same picture with the caption, "Prepare." Not only that, but then we see producers from the likes of Pharrell and Filthy reposting that picture with the caption, "Prepare," leading us to believe that the album is going to be coming very, very soon in the imminent future. And then, of course, we got academics who gave us that tweet saying that it was coming in January. And to be honest with you, the fact that he tweeted that he put it up on his IG, and that he's not just like talking on stream, gives me a bit more comfortability in knowing that it's probably going to be happening next month. And I think that music fans across the world couldn't be more excited, just because with Carti, you know that you're getting an album that's going to move the needle. Yes. You know what I mean? I think that we're in a place right now where for mainstream hip-hop, there isn't too many experimental projects that end up shifting the culture in many directions. But one of the more recent ones that we could think of was Whole Lotta Red. But in terms of other updates, we also know that there's going to be a song apparently with Travis Scott and another song featuring Uzi, just because at Carti's birthday party in September in Atlanta, he was previewing new music, and those songs were previewed. So how do you feel about that, the fact that he's maybe returning with classic collaborators?
Well, this is another thing that academics said about this new release that's coming up. He said that he was going to be taking, not his old sound, but kind of flipping it, if that makes sense. And he said he was going to be completely steering away from the Whole Lotta Red sound, which kind of gets me excited, because what does that mean, right? Do you go back to that classic Cash Carti sound that everyone absolutely adored in 2016 and 2017? Or do you go for, let's say, what's really worked for you in 2020 and maybe make a hybrid of that? But that's what's interesting to me, is that even if you look at Fiend, for example, because I think that's maybe the only official release, quote unquote, that we could go off. There's been full of leaks. There's shit you could go listen to. I don't want to talk about that. Maybe look at Fiend. One of the only things that got released from Carti up to this date, at least from a verse standpoint, goes, it's a completely new voice. It's a completely new flow. It's a completely new way to attack his rapping. And that's what I'm excited for. And I was a big fan of that deep voice. I know that you're not that big of a fan of it. So explain to me this. If he goes into that direction with his new album, how are you felt? Like, let's say, what's going to be your sentiment after that album if he goes in that direction?
Listen, at the end of the day, looking back even at Whole Lotta Red, as much as I didn't enjoy that album and the direction that he took it in, I was still pleased to get something that was unique and that was just so original compared to everything else that I was listening to. And the fact that Carti wants to continue his evolution, give us a new sound that we haven't heard from him before, maybe going away from the punk and metal type of performances you were getting from him on Whole Lotta Red, going away from the baby voice, trying out something new excites me. If I love it or hate it, I feel like I'm going to appreciate this new album because he's going to go against the grain and he's going to probably put together a sound that others are going to try to replicate. And I think that's what's really exciting to me, is the fact that you're not going to get the same thing you've got in the past. But speaking about what you were mentioning about academics saying that he's going to flip the Whole Lotta Red sound, what's interesting is that DJ Swamp Izzo in March of 2023 sort of gave us a contradictory statement where he's like, the new album will have a sound similar to his 2015 to 2018 stuff, yet sound like something he's never done before. So we're in limbo with where the direction of the Sonics are going to be.
Tough. It's tough
but
for Carti.
I think the lock is that we are going to get that deeper voice from Carti. Which is
super
interesting.
down for it. I'm super down
But
for it.
production-wise, where do you think this might go?
Well, I mean, you already know that Filthy's going to be all over this. Maybe even Cardo makes a return and you see him come through. Maybe Art Dealer beats. It's so tough because he has an array of different producers that he works with. And even at that, it was a completely left turn as far as, let's say, a Whole Lotta Red goes, because not that there was, no Pierre Bourne beats, but it was definitely, let's say, a cut down from what you had gotten on Self-Titled and Die Lit. So I'm kind of asking myself, is like that same thing going to happen with Art Dealer this time, where like, well, you go into the project and there's going to be less Art Dealer beats, and now there's going to be maybe some Benny X production. Is there going to be maybe some new people that are going to come onto the project and kind of form something that's a bit bigger? Or let's say you get more Filthy production, because the Filthy production on Whole Lotta Red low-key like really carried I would say, the narrative of the production. I feel like Filthy really made his standpoint on that album. So it's like, well, do you bring Filthy in and you get him on a lot more credits? So that's what I'm kind of asking myself. It's like, I can kind of imagine where this is going. It's just, who's going to have the bigger piece of the pie here as far as credits go, and who's going to be producing most of the album? That's what I'm asking. So let me ask you that. Who do you think is going to be taking care of this album?
I think the Working on Dying collective is going to be all over this thing. I think Benny X is definitely going to have his fair share of beats on this album, just because he's literally popping off on everyone's project at this point, and I love his range as a producer too.
Okay, let me ask you that though. Is that like, Carti's kind of different with that. Carti doesn't care if you're popping or not. Carti wants like his own unique sound. So it's like, since Benny X has kind of, he's dominated every single chart. He's had a massive year in 2023. Extremely talented producer. Is it a case of like, well,
what, he's too big for me to feature him on my album? I don't think so.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying is like, maybe he wants to bring in more low-key people to craft another and new sound. There's a lot of artists that like to do that, where if, let's say, a producer is featured on a bunch of different albums, it's like, well, okay, maybe I slow down on that sound and I introduce something new to the table.
It's absolutely possible.
That's a possibility.
It definitely is. And I think on Whole Lotta Red, you definitely got some producers that were featured on there that maybe didn't have the craziest resume. But yeah, I think Benny X is going to be a lock. Art Dealer, like you mentioned, Filthy for sure. Pharrell is going to be very interesting to see what kind of beat he provides for Carti if he is on it.
Pharrell verse on there. That's the one thing I don't want to see.
No.
No way.
And Pharrell's production's been shaky as of late too.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Looking at something like Cash In, Cash Out and other productions
People
that he's
like
given
that
us.
sort of stuff, though. People enjoyed those credits. It wasn't for me, though. But maybe he just provides his 4 account and he leaves the building.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happens. But all respect to Pharrell, I would like to see him make the album just to see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I guess it would be just more of an experimental thing on his end. But
we got to see Ken Carson and Destroy Lonely on this thing, because they haven't even made a song with Carti, bro.
That's going to be a lock. Absolutely. I think he has to.
Yeah.
It would be such a great play for Opium and just for the whole direction of the album. So let me ask you this, all right? So this whole January date is now apparently confirmed.
Apparently.
And no one from Opium and no one from Playboi Carti'S camp and Carti himself, no one objected to this. No one said anything. They said, okay, let's have academics run with this. And he's done official press releases for Opium before. Do you buy it? Yes or no? Are you in?
Do I buy it? You know what? I do buy it, just because from what I'm looking at here, I know that some of the dates changed. It seems like Carti's tour is starting mid-January. And I think that's the power play, right? That's probably the reason why he delayed the tour to begin with, because this guy's a workaholic. We know that he's been like in caves in France cooking music and shit. Like, he's been working, bro.
That's crazy.
He's been working for all the leaks we've been hearing too. He's been working. So I really think the only logical explanation as to why he moved that date was to fucking drop it before tour.
Oh man. By the way, the pre-sale already went up for the Antagonist tour and everything went, those kids must be fucking going crazy right now.
They must be going dummy,
you better
bro.
believe the prices of those tickets have gone through the fucking roof. But I agree with you. Listen, I think it's a power play. Especially, you know what? It's been a slow year for hip-hop. If Carti comes back, he drops a monumental album at the start of 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, we're off to a good note.
But you know what? I feel like after Whole Lotta Red and, him bringing in the chiptune synth production and these, like, really cool sounds that ended up shaping the landscape of the 2020s, alongside that punk energy, the manic expression, I feel like it's almost going to be difficult for him to have another album that influences the game as much, but I'm hoping for it. If someone could do it, it's him right now, because I feel like he is the leader of this new generation of hip-hop.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. These kids are fucking foaming at the mouth.
Yeah.
Do you think he sells over 300,000 with this?
I think he does.
I think he does easy. I think he does over 2.
I think he does 250.
I think he does easy 2.
And to go back to the whole antagonist word being attached to this, on his burner account, he had posted something where it was in the same caption, antagonist is forever, antagonist being the name of the tour, music is forever. So again, I think that's linking the tour with the album.
Okay, so let's say for old head Playboi Carti fans like you and I, and then after that, all the new kids that came in after Whole Lotta Red, do you think this is the perfect power play for his sound to be able to bring in like that old Cash Carti sound, but to be able to have it with, like, let's say everything he's built off of with Whole Lotta Reds?
I don't know. I kind of want to see him go totally left field, to be honest with you. As much as I love the Cash Carti sound, I have those projects to listen to, and Whole Lotta Red kind of gave you some of those tracks. If you look at songs like An Over, if you look at songs like Place, you kind of are getting that reminiscent Carti.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
No, but I'm not saying that exactly. I'm saying like une mélange, as we say in French.
Yeah,
French,
if it's a full split, I mean, yeah, depending how the track list is curated and sequenced.
But I'm not saying like him taking that exactly like that Playboi Carti, like old Cash Carti sound. I'm saying the mixes and like the sonic palettes you used to hear back then from Carti mixed in with more of this manic energy and this deeper voice that he's now presenting in this decade.
So sort of like meshing these sonics and flows and voices in singular tracks.
Absolutely.
That would be crazy, bro.
But that's what I think.
That would make for some of the most dynamic Carti songs ever. So.
It'd be fucking crazy. It'd be a huge. But artists usually do that. Artists will do that. They'll usually, like, especially with studio albums. You see example, like, I was talking to JT about this a long time ago with Daniel Caesar. You look at his 2 studio albums, polar opposites, and then you look at what he dropped this year. It's literally a split in the middle of both of those albums. So that could be that fucking album for Carti where he meets that middle point and it's game over. It is game over. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. Listen, I'm a bit guilty. I've pressed on a couple of Twitter links here and there, and I've listened. It sounds crazy. There's a couple of leaks I've listened to, and they sound fucking.
Yeah,
nuts.
A lot of them that I heard were somewhat low quality, but
bro, they
sound pretty
phenomenal.
nutty. They sound pretty nutty. But let me ask you this before we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Is January happening?
Yeah. To answer the question I ask you, yeah, I think it's happening for sure. It has to happen. It's perfect timing. It is perfect timing. I think he's smart by not dropping it on Christmas. First of all, I think record labels. When are they? Yeah, it's all record labels. By the way, guys, for anyone that knows, like they close in like a couple of weeks.
That hasn't stopped him before, though.
I know, but the thing is, I don't think it's happening again this time. I think he's gonna take his time. They're gonna roll this out. Like Academic said, you're probably gonna see a lot more stuff happen in the next couple of weeks. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, Playboi Carti's music. If you guys are excited, as much as Lou and I are, let me know in the comments section, do you think it's actually happening? And if you think it's happening, let me know 3 different features that you'd like to see on this album. But guys, as Lou mentioned at the beginning of this video, if you do enjoy this video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and smash the notification bell, because we will be keeping you updated with everything Playboi Carti. Thank you so much for watching this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.